start, though, I do want to say one thing, okay? I believe one of the biggest factors in becoming successful is having the identity of a successful person. How do you develop that identity? By finding the reasons on why you deserve to win. I think a lot of us, because of the negativity that is naturally around, we get to a point where we think, why me? Why would I be good enough? Why would I be smart enough? Why would I be strong enough? Why would I be the one that makes these extraordinary things happen? And I think that's such a negative way to look at ourselves because we're so powerful. Yes or no? Yes. So I believe it's the opposite. We should learn to find reasons on why we deserve to win. One of those reasons is the fact that you're here today. Whether you're in person, on Zoom, or on YouTube Live, you made a decision to not be on Netflix, to not be doing something that everyone else is doing. And instead, you're here learning, growing, and developing skills that will benefit you and your families for generations to come. So I want you to give yourself a round of applause for making that investment in yourself. And that is exactly why I truly believe every single one of you deserves to make your dreams a reality. Cool? Yes. Awesome. Okay, so today's session, I'm going to talk about leadership. Now, for those of you that have been coming to our sessions for a long time, you know I don't do this topic that often. And people wonder, Nima, why not? Isn't our business a big part of it about leadership? Isn't leadership a huge part about every area of life? Yes, but I feel like it's been too complicated for too many people. I think too many people have made leadership this like grandeur, insane thing that they're reaching for. And I don't think it's that complicated. I think leadership is a lot more simple than people make it. I think it's a lot easier concept to grasp. And I think that 1 or 2 books on leadership is more than enough. You don't need to buy 100 books by some of these great authors that write it. But I want to make this concept one that is not only simple for you to understand, but more importantly, simple for you to apply. Yes. And leadership is one of the 2 skills that are the most valuable in the marketplace. I truly believe the 2 most valuable skill sets in the marketplace that will compensate you at the highest level are 1, marketing and your ability to generate leads and clients, and 2, leadership. If you look at any company, whatever industry it's in, most of their budget goes to what? It goes into marketing and generating leads so people know about their amazing products so they can take advantage of it. And it also goes into paying the executives and the leadership team the highest amount because without great leadership, you don't build any great companies or any great organization. If you think about it, actually, when you see an Elon Musk, a Steve Jobs, he's passed away now, God bless him, or anyone else that you admire as a great in business, even in tech, something that's very technical. What's the major difference between an Elon Musk, a Steve Jobs, and some of these other great CEOs and founders? Are they the smartest engineers? Probably not. Are they the best at coding and doing all those things? Probably not. You know what they're the best at? Leading people. Yes, they're smart people for sure, because what they do is very complicated and it's complex. Yes, there are people that understand engineering at a deep level. Yes, there are people that understand coding at a probably basic level. But the reason they're billionaires is because they've learned to bring smart people together. They've learned to recruit the highest caliber types of people. And then they were able to build an environment and a culture that brought them in unison so they can work together to make magic happen. You know, one of the best things that I heard when it came to leadership was Jim Rohn. And Jim Rohn says it. He goes, leading people is like herding cats. You can herd sheep. That's pretty simple. Have you tried herding cats? If you have a cat, you know what I'm talking about. How easy is it to get your cat to do what they've done? What to do? How many of you have met a trained cat? Anyone here? I haven't. Maybe it's on YouTube, but I haven't seen any in real life. Herding cats is as hard as leading people because we're all smart people. We all have an ego. We're all strong. We're all powerful in our own way. And to get people to work together in unison can be very difficult. That's why leadership is such a valuable skill. And leadership isn't even just about business. It's about leading yourself more than anything. It's about leading your family. It's about being an example for the people around you. One of my, I would say probably my biggest purpose actually is to leave this place better than I found it. My biggest purpose is with the life that I've been given, hopefully it's a long one, I get to leave this world better than I found it. I get to impact people in a positive way. I get to impact the world in a positive way. In order for me to be able to do that, I need to become a great leader. Does that make sense? See, being a doctor is extremely difficult. But having a clinic that has a bunch of doctors working together is even more difficult. But it's more valuable as well. Yes or no? Yes. So that's why leadership is so important, because it's the one skill that allows you to do things on a big level. Because if you want to do things fast, you can go by yourself. You want to do things on a big scale, you got to do it with a team. And in order to be able to do that, you need to lead. You know, when I came across this business, the thing that attracted me the most about it was the fact that I looked at the business model and I loved it. I looked at the compensation model and I loved it. But more importantly, I looked at what it takes to be successful here. And I'm like, in order to win here, I got to learn sales. I got to learn influence. I got to learn management. I got to learn marketing. But most importantly, I got to learn leadership. And I get to learn it from people who've already done it at a high level for free. So I thought, if I come into this and just learn these skills, even at a basic level, I'll be way more valuable to the marketplace than anyone else that's competing with me. So for me, I always tell people, I say, yes, you're going to make a lot of money doing what we do. Yes, it's a very lucrative industry, but what you become is always going to be more valuable than what you earn. Because they can take away the money, they can take away a lot of things from you. Especially nowadays, you see with all the stuff that's happening around the world, they can take away a lot of things. You know what? They can't take away who you are and the skills that you develop. Are we good? Yes. Awesome. Okay, so I've put this training into 3 parts. Part 1 is leading yourself. Part 2 is teaching others to lead themselves. Part 3 is leading leaders. I'm hoping to be able to go through all 3 segments, but each segment is so vital, and if you don't master the leading yourself part, the other ones don't even make sense. See, for me, a true leader is somebody who's learned to lead themselves at such a high level that other people naturally want to be led by them. You know, when you look at someone like Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo or all these great athletes, why do we look up to them? Because they've done such an amazing job leading a phenomenal life for themselves that we want to be like them. And they have influence over us because of that. Is that clear? So that's why leading yourself is such a vital thing to remember. And here's the first thing you need in order to even be able to lead yourself. You need to take 100% responsibility for your life and results. See, a lot of people sit there and go, Nima, I'm not a leader. You are. You're leading you. Only if you take 100% responsibility for it. See, anytime you blame someone else for anything in your life, you give them power. If you blame your boss, they have power over you. If you blame your parents, they have power over you. If you blame your friends, they have power over you. Anyone that you give blame to automatically has power over you. Do you know why? Because the only way to change that circumstance is for them to do something about it if it's their fault. Does that make sense? Yes. Meaning, if it's your boss's fault that you're unhappy, who can make you happy now? So you have no power over your happiness anymore. How crazy is that? But I get why people blame, because it's easier than to take responsibility. See, to blame someone else is easier to sleep at night, but it's a harder life. Because you go, well, it's not my fault, so I don't need to worry about it, so I don't need to do anything about it. As soon as you take responsibility, now you have to do something about it. So the number one quality that great leaders have is they take 100% responsibility for their life and results. Here's the second thing. They have a vision for a more compelling future. If you're not going anywhere, why would anyone follow you? You know, the first step of being a leader is to go somewhere. Some of you are sitting here and you go, I just want to go to a place where I'm making an extra $500 a month. That's still going somewhere. Some of you are sitting here and you go, I want to come here and learn finances. That's still going somewhere. Some of you are here and you go, I want to come and learn these personal development concepts and these great skills. That's good. You're still going somewhere. Having a vision doesn't mean having this grander vision of changing the world. Having a vision means having an outlook of a better future. Once you have that, you've officially sat into a leadership position. Because now you can go to other people and go, hey, if you want to learn finance, I can take you somewhere. Hey, if you want to learn personal development, I can take you somewhere. Hey, if you want to make some extra income on a part-time basis, I can take you somewhere. So you need to have a vision. Now, here's the key here, though. The bigger your vision is, the more people fit. The bigger your vision is, the more people fit. See, how many people do you want to take with you? It depends on how big your vision is. Our goal in the next 3 years, guys, is to have 5,000 licensed agents. You know what that means? That means there's going to be thousands of people making 7 figures with us, and even more people making hundreds of thousands with us, and many, many others making great part-time income with themselves so they can satisfy some of the things they want in their life that they can't at the moment. We're going to be able to change a lot of lives from that. And in order to do that, it's not going to happen with me. It's going to happen with me and all of you leading with me. Make sense? But that's a vision that fits a lot of people. What if my vision was to just pay my own bills? That's okay. I could, but I wouldn't be able to take that many people with me. So the reason they started paying me 7 figures of income at the age of 28 was because my vision was big. And when you got a big vision and you can execute it, they give you the big bucks. So no one is going to get mad at you for having a small vision. But when you have a small vision, there's only a few people you can take with you. And if you are the person I know you are, a strong person, a capable person, I'm challenging you to think bigger so you can take more people with you. Your goals and your whys need to be prominent in your mind. Every time I do one of my mentorship calls, you know what I talk to them about? What's your goals and what's your why? You know what's the most common response? And by the way, this is this environment. In this environment, we talk about goals and whys. It's commonplace. It's the first page of your Fast Start package. Imagine what people are like out there in the real world. They don't even know what a goal even is, most of them. Why? What do you mean, why? Seriously. Because they're not exposed to this information. Brian Tracy said something that was so powerful. He said your goal needs to be so a part of who you are that if they wake you up in the middle of the night at 3 a.m. and you're startled awake and they go, what's your goal? You can tell them verbatim. I read my goals and my whys to myself twice a day, in the morning and at night. You know why? Because it needs to be a part of me for it to be a part of my life. The number one secret to exponential growth is obsession. If you get obsessed with the vision becomes a reality. But you know what most people do? They come up with a goal on January 1st and they forget it on January 5th. And then they wonder, how come my goals never became a reality? Because you forgot it even existed. If I'm going to Whistler, let's say, and I forget how to get to Whistler, can I get to Whistler? If I want to go on a trip and by the time I get to the airport, I forget where I was going, can I get there? Sorry, where were we going today? Here's the number one thing I want you to remember if you're lacking goals and lacking why. If you're not going somewhere, you're not going anywhere. And most people live 1 year for 100 years, if they live that long. It's the same year they repeat over and over again, and they never end up anywhere because they weren't ever planning on going anywhere. So you want to set yourself apart from the crowd, start with writing your goals down and your whys. I have a YouTube video called The 5 Steps to Designing Your Life. It was a system that I actually took action on when I was 19. And I went from not knowing at all what I wanted to do with my life to building a vision for myself that came true on the time that I wanted to come true. And I promise you, if I didn't do that planning, I would never be here. Can I share a quick secret with you? Yes. It's much easier to make $1 million a year than 100,000 a year. Okay. Trust me. This is coming from someone who's making $1 million a year, and I know a lot of people that make 100,000. That's how I know. Now, some of you are confused. Why is that? I'm a common sense guy, and I'm a logical guy. So I'm just going to give you the logic. This is not like some kumbaya stuff. Here's why it's easier to make $1 million than 100,000. What do you need to do to make 100,000? How many things can you do that could pay you 6 figures? There's so many things that I can't even narrow it down to 100. How many things can you do to make $1 million? Oh, now the numbers are lower, yes? Yeah. Process of elimination. Okay, how many people want to make 100,000 a year? Everyone that's in Canada and the US probably wants to make 100,000 a year because nowadays, if you don't, it's very difficult to have a certain life that you want to have. Yes or no? Yes. So in that one, you're competing against everyone. How many people actually want to make $1 million? Not just talk about it at the club to seem cool, not just try to, impress some people, but how many people genuinely intend on making $1 million a year? Very, very few. 1% maybe. So in the 100K competition, you're competing against 99% of people that are smart, go-getters, ambitious. In the 1 million category, you're only competing against the 1%. Which competition is easier? See, to get to 100K, you got to go to university, most likely. How many people go to university? Everyone. Big competition to get in. How many people come out of that university with the exact same degree as you do, wanted to make 100,000? Everyone. How many of them are interviewing for that same job that's going to make you 100,000? You see where I'm going with this? How many people are dropping out of university after 1 year to come and start WFG? I did. You see what I'm trying to say? The route to 100K is filled with traffic. It's always rush hour to 100K. To 1 million, the road's empty. See, the $1 million earner wakes up at 6 a.m. No one's on the road at 6 a.m. The 100K earners wake up at 7:30. Everyone's on the road at 7:30. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? It's actually easier to compete for 1 million than 100 because no one's competing for it because it's too hard. That's why thinking bigger is so much better than thinking small. Here's the next thing. Be 100% coachable to a great leader. In order to lead others, you need to first learn how to lead. Well, how would you learn how to lead if you never learn it from someone who's already leading? And it doesn't have to be someone in person. It could be someone that you're reading about. It could be someone that you're listening to on YouTube. But you need to learn to lead in order to lead. You know, I used to think that if I'm a follower, it makes me not a leader. I actually realized that if I'm the greatest follower, it's the only way to become a great leader. See, before my ego used to tell me I can't follow people, I can't learn from people because then it means something about me. Then I realized if I don't follow someone and learn from someone, I'll never be able to lead anyone else either. The easiest way to lead is lead by example. So you need to show by example how you follow another leader so you can teach your team to do the same thing. Does that make sense? Yes. By the way, the hardest leadership is the one that we do in our business because we're leading a volunteer army. Any of you can do whatever you want. None of you work for me. It's a piece of cake to lead a bunch of people that work for you at Walmart if you're a manager. It's a piece of cake because you're paying them. And you know what you tell them every time they don't listen to you? We're going to fire you. Can we say that in our business, guys? No. That's why this is the greatest leadership academy in the universe. Because in order to lead, you need to actually be a great leader because people are choosing to follow you. They don't have to follow you. Here's the next thing. Learn to coach yourself effectively. I said it already. The greatest leaders are the greatest leaders to themselves first. Here's my question. How do you lead you? How do you lead you? If you're a leader, do you want your followers to keep the promises that they make to you? Yes. They say, I'm going to be here at this time. Do you want them to show up? Yes. They say, I'm going to do this thing at this time. Do you want them to do it? Yes. Do you do that to yourself? Good question to ask. When you tell yourself, I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow morning, do you go to the gym tomorrow morning? When you tell yourself that, hey, I'm going to do this thing, do you do it? If you do, great. But the number one position that you hold in your life is leading yourself. And that means learning to keep the promises you make to yourself. That means keeping yourself disciplined. That also means learning to challenge yourself. That also means learning to push yourself when you need to push it. And the fifth one, which people are the worst at, learning to recognize yourself where you deserve recognition. See, when it comes to leadership, self-talk is everything. Because if you learn to lead yourself with the right self-talk, then you can teach that self-talk to others. You know, I remember I read the book, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself, and it completely revolutionized the way I mentor people. Because then for the first time, I realized what the real secret is. It's the things you say to you. And before I read that book, I wasn't even aware of it. Now I can literally hear me talking to me as if I'm standing in front of me. Lexi was talking and telling me the same thing. She's like, now I can actually hear myself talk to myself and I can identify it. I can tell the difference between the bad voice and the good voice. The future Lexi that's going to make the millions and the one that's going to make nothing. You can hear those two voices. They're always competing. You know, one of the best stories that I heard was this grandpa was talking to his grandson and he goes, grandson, there's a battle being fought within you every single day. He's like, what's the battle? He's like, it's the battle of the good wolf and the bad wolf. The good wolf is ambition, is motivation, is kindness, is giving, is gratitude. The bad wolf is envy, fear, discouragement, negativity. And he goes, they're always fighting. And the grandson goes, well, grandpa, who wins? And he goes, the one you feed. How do you feed the good wolf? When he tells you to do something, do it, even if it's hard. How do you feed the bad wolf? Do what he tells you to do, even though it's easy, but you know it's going to make your life hard. Every time you listen to the good wolf gets stronger and bigger. Every time you feed the bad wolf gets stronger and bigger. That's your self-talk. Does that make sense to everyone? Yes. Once you can become aware of your self-talk and see it for what it is and change it, you can do it for other people. And we're going to talk about that in a second. Here's the next thing when it comes to coaching yourself. A lot of people talk about being positive. I actually don't believe in being positive. I don't. I don't even, being positive and being negative is not even a relevant thing in my mind. Here's what I believe. You should be a great coach. Doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. Because a lot of people misunderstand being positive for being delusional nowadays. Many people nowadays believe being positive means being delusional. And those are completely two different things. And I'll explain to you what it is. A positive person, in the real definition, is someone who has a positive perspective on things they can't control. They have a positive perspective on things they can't control. Does that make sense? That means when it's raining, they can see the beauty in the rain. Can you control whether it's rainy or sunny? You might prefer it's sunny, but when it's raining, you can still see the beauty in the rain. That's a positive person. A negative person can't even enjoy the sun. And they also see exactly how they feel without exaggeration. And can also pat themselves on the back for their wins and progress. What is a negative person? It's someone who has a negative perspective on things they can't control. And they exaggerate their failures and underplay their successes. See, the positive person acknowledges their failure, but they don't exaggerate it. And they can easily pat themselves on the back for their wins and the good things that they do. The negative person always exaggerates their failure and underplays their success. They say, of course I failed, I'm a failure. And when they succeed, I just got lucky. And they think they're being humble. No, dude, you're being a loser. Seriously, because you're programming yourself to lose. And you know, let me give you guys an easy way to always be able to identify the difference. How would you feel if an external person said that to you? See, we take a lot of shit from ourselves because we think, well, it's me, so why would I matter? But if, for those of you that are going through a lot of negativity, I've been there. For those of you that are going through depression, I've been there. If someone else said even 50% of the things you say to you, you would punch them in the face right away. But when you say it to you, well, it's just who I am. But if I called you stupid, you would stop me. If I called you ugly, you would stop me. But you call yourself that every day. Yes or no? Yes. When you're in that negative state. So for me, it always comes back to this. If somebody else said this to me that I respect, how would I take it? If you win and you work hard to win and they say you got lucky, how would you feel? Would you want to keep playing? Would you want to win again? So then don't do that to yourself. See, let me tell you guys this. A great coach needs to be encouraging to you 100%. But they also need to be willing to call you out and challenge you when it matters. But there's a difference between challenging someone for their benefit and challenging someone to bring them down. I'll tell you what the difference is. A bad coach says you are lazy and that's why you're a loser. A bad coach, internally or externally, says you are lazy and that's why you are a loser. A good coach says you are being lazy and that's why you are losing. It's the exact same thing, isn't it? But how different is it actually? I'm going to say it one more time. A bad coach says you are lazy and that's why you are a loser. A great coach says you are being lazy and that's why you are losing. It's the same thing, but it's completely different. And here's where it's different. The bad coach is telling you that this is who you are. Can you change who you are? I'm Persian. Can I change that? I'm 5'8". Can I change that? Can I have surgery? I don't know. Is that out today? I don't know. There might be. But can you change what you are? Can you change an action you are taking? 100%. See, a great coach is not positively delusional. A great coach is positive in seeing who you can be, but has no problem calling you for what you're doing wrong. If somebody's not studying and you go, that's okay, I'm going to pass anyways. No, you're not. You're going to fail. Very simple. But a great coach says, hey, you're not studying. You're going to fail if you don't study. A bad coach says, you're not studying. You're stupid. You see that? So then the person who's getting the bad coaching goes, what's the point of me studying? I'm stupid. But the good coach says, you are not studying and that's where you're going to fail. So can you change the studying habit? Can you change the intelligence? So watch what you say to yourself, because when this session is done, guess who's going to talk to you? You. People come to sessions and they go, man, I got so motivated, but then the motivation left because you started to talk. That's why. If you weren't talking to you and you were just listening to Ed Milet, Patrick Bet David, myself, or anyone else that you deem motivational, the motivation will continue. But you heard this talk, and then you start to talk to you. What's the point? I'm never going to make it. I'm such a this. I'm so that. Of course, you're not going to be motivated. Who would be? Are you guys with me so far?
Yes.
Here's the next thing that you need to do in order to lead yourself at a high level. You need to learn to pass the test of life. You need to learn to pass the test of life. There's 3 tests that life gives you, and it comes in different forms, but it's only 3. Failure, distractions, and complacency. Those are the 3. You learn to pass those 3 tests. Now you can teach others to do the same thing. But here's one thing that I want to share with you guys. Because some people see me and they go, man, you're a strong person. You're so tough, da, da, da. And they think I'm strong and tough because of who I am. I'm strong and tough because of what I went through. You understand? You know where real strength and confidence comes from? Going through hell and coming out on the other side. That's where strength comes from. Strength comes from growing through your challenges, not just going through them. Every human being will go through challenges. As long as you're on this earth, you will go through challenges. But very few people grow through their challenges. When you grow through your challenges, that's when you get a confidence that's next to, like, no one can even like come across it. Guys, when you guys see serial winners like Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, all these greats that you hear about, you know what they all have in common? They lost the most, they failed the most, and they hated it the most. They lost the most, they failed the most, and they hated it the most. That which you do not hate, you will one day have to tolerate. See, there was other competitors that lost as much as them, but they didn't hate it as much. It's okay. At least I'm a professional. It's okay. At least, I'm still going to get paid. It's okay. At least I still have my fans. The real winners hate losing. Actually, most winners, and I can talk about that with myself too, I hate losing more than I like winning. I actually don't even know if I like winning or not, because usually when I win, I don't even celebrate it. But I hate losing. And what you hate, you will not have to tolerate. But what you don't, you won't have to learn to tolerate. So the biggest thing is, many people think that, a confident person is confident because they're rich. A confident person who actually earns their riches is confident because of what they had to go through to become rich. That's why if you take their money away, you put them in the middle of nowhere, 3 years later, they're just as rich. So instead of cursing your challenges and going, why me? Here's the next question. Why not you? I'm curious to know, why shouldn't you go through challenges? How come there's people in the world right now that are in the middle of war, losing their parents, losing their kids, losing their houses, losing their loved ones? How come they go through that? But you can't go through a little bit of inflation? You can't go through losing your job? You can't go through having some clients say no to you? You can't go through your friends not inviting you to a party? Oh, boo-hoo, what a crappy life you have. But actually think about that for a second. What makes you so much better than those other people that are going through that? What entitles you to good fortune? Because a lot of people do the why me thing and they get recognition for it as if there's anything to be impressed by to be a victim. There's nothing easier in this world than being a victim. And every one of us can be a victim if we wanted to. Because we all go through stuff and we all have hard things happen to us. But here's the question. Why not you? Why shouldn't you go through something? You know what I was telling one of the people that I was mentoring? I said, dude, the reason you're getting tested so much is because you talk so much shit. He goes, what do you mean? I'm like, dude, you said you want to be this big shot, want to make these big things happen. You don't think God's watching and goes, okay, let's see if they're serious? Yeah. Guys, the reason I went through all the shit that I went through is because I started talking shit. When I was 19, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to make $1 million a year. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you can't. I will. I'm freaking. And God's like, oh, you will. Let's destroy this guy's life in 10 different ways and see what happens. That's it. That's it. Look, when you go play street soccer and you talk shit, people are gonna elbow you harder. Yes. Oh, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna mag you. Oh, really? Boom, elbow, knee. But when you win, they all stand back. The next time you come up, they go, oh, he's here. Yo, can you be on our team? Like, yes. So when you declare big goals and big visions, get ready for big tests. Because now God's gonna go, okay, I believe in you. I think you deserve it, but let's see if you actually do. So there's you and a bunch of other people who want to make $1 million a year by the time they're 27. We're going to put you all through these tests. The one who lasts the longest, improves the most, out-strategizes the best and outworks the most will get it. Done. That's the competition. So next time you're saying, why am I going through this? Ask yourself why you decided to play in the big boys league. Because if you want to go for big goals, you better get big challenges and big tests. Does that make sense? Yeah. Now you might go, why? Because you need to show that you have the strength to handle the responsibility you're going to be given. It takes responsibility to be a leader in your family. It takes responsibility to be wealthy. It takes responsibility to lead big organizations. So God needs to know, hey, if I'm going to give this to you, you got to be able to handle all the challenges. You know what's harder than getting rejected? Having hundreds of people in your team get rejected every day. And you have to deal with it. You know what's harder than having mental health? Having a bunch of people in your team that have mental health. So if you can't even handle you, when do you think we're going to let you handle other people? So next time you're going through some tough stuff and you're like, man, this sucks, thank God for it. Because he's actually believing in you enough where he's willing to give you that kind of challenge. Because God gives his biggest test to his strongest soldiers. Yes, and if you prove that you are the strong soldier, he'll give you big rewards when you come out on the other side. That's why it's always darkest right before dawn. So a lot of people hear me talk and go, man, what gives him the right to talk like this, to say this? Because I went through so much that there's nothing you could do that I would be afraid of. All the worst case scenarios in my mind happened and I overcame it. So what do I have to be afraid of now? When you've tasted the bottom and survived, you don't have the fear of going back. Does that make sense? Yes. But when you've never been there and you're defending and you're protecting, now it's an issue. So learn to overcome the test of failure. Learn to overcome the test of complacency. Learn to overcome the test of distractions. You know how distractions come sometimes in new opportunities. Yeah. I've seen people walk away from hundreds of thousands of passive income because they got a job promotion that made them an extra $10,000. That was a distraction. They were being tested. Like, hey, this is the shiny object. Do you want it? If they said no and kept going on their path, they probably would have been making hundreds, if not millions, of passive income. But don't think distractions are just negative stuff. A lot of times, the biggest distractions are positive stuff. Does that make sense to everyone? Yes. Here's the next thing. Get over yourself. Let me tell you what that means. It means to get over your feelings and emotions. You want to be a great leader to yourself and others? Get over yourself. Because leadership isn't about you, it's about others. And if you're so focused on your problems, you'll never be able to solve anyone else's. And to me, getting over yourself means getting over your emotions and feelings. Look, one of the biggest mistakes that people make is they think their emotions actually mean something. One of the biggest mistakes that people make is they think their emotions mean something. Let me explain to you what that means. If you feel like you're right, it doesn't mean you're right. I know I'm right. How? Let's see the facts. Now. That's how people argue. I just know. When people say I just know, I'm like, dude, you're a special person. But just because you feel sad doesn't mean your sadness has to do with anyone else. You know what people do? They feel angry and they go, why am I angry? And then they come up with a bunch of nonsense reasons. And you know what that does is anchors them in that anger. And they wonder why they can't get out of the anger. Because you have so many good reasons to be angry. You know when I get angry, why I get angry? Just because I'm angry. It has nothing to do with anything or anyone else. You go, well, what if somebody did something to you that made you angry? How could anyone do anything to me that would affect my internal state? There is nothing anyone can do to make me feel a certain way unless I choose to feel it. I'm 100% responsibility for the feelings that I invoke in myself. Yeah, some of those emotions and feelings might be from genetics, might be from the past, and maybe they just come up. Sometimes your emotional home is sadness and you just go to sadness for no reason. And if you can recognize that and just be like, I'm just being sad, there's nothing wrong with it, you'll get out of it very quickly. Same with anger, same with any other emotion. But as soon as you give it a reason, now you have to stay there until the reason is gone. You go, Nima, what do you mean? Here's the very simple chart of where your feelings and emotions come from. As stimulus happens, okay, I don't know why the projector is not working, but I'm not going to let it make me angry. Did I press on something? Is one of the wires not working? Okay, good. Okay, we got to fix this. Okay, guys, as stimulus happens, let's use a very, very, very clear one. Somebody punches you in the face, okay? If you believe that they punch you in the face because they're crazy, How upset do you get? Let me use an easier one because maybe you're like, well, if I get punched in the face, it hurts. Fair enough. Let's say somebody swears at you. Somebody says, F you. Okay? Okay, hold on. If you look at that person and go, wow, that's a very rude and crazy person, do you get upset? No. But if you take your person and go, F you to me? You're disrespecting me? Wait, how did you figure out that they're disrespecting you? How do you know they're disrespecting you? You don't. That stimulus or event went through a belief system. And that belief system and story created your feelings and emotions. Your emotions are nothing but a bunch of stories that you told yourself to make yourself feel a certain way. That's all your emotions are, honestly speaking. Because just because somebody swears at you, the story isn't, oh, I'm disrespected and I'm not valuable and I'm not worth anything. And the story could be they're a crazy person. If a 2-year-old says F you to me, do you laugh or do you slap him in the face? If a 2-year-old child goes, F you, do you go, what the hell, and knee him in the face? Is that what you do? As a normal human being, does a normal human being react that way? No, a normal human being, oh my God, that's so cute. Who taught him that? Ha ha ha. Yes or no? Because the story you put around that is that it's a cute kid who doesn't know what they're saying. But then when your dad says it to you, it's a whole different story. Isn't it? Yes. And it has nothing to do with reality. You see all these YouTube videos where people go and like prank people, and there's like a drink that's called a certain thing, and they say like, oh, I'm gonna bang you, bro. And it's a bang drink, right? And then the person's like, you're gonna bang me? I'm like, oh, I'm gonna fight you. And they goes, no, bro, I'm gonna like give you a drink. I'm gonna bang you with the drink. Like, and the guy says, oh, ha 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 ha. So what's the difference between those two emotions? The story they gave to it. At first, they thought the guy was gonna attack him. Yes? At first, they thought the guy's gonna go after them. So they got freaking defensive. What the hell is this? The second thing, the guy was gonna give him a drink. The event was the same. Their emotion, their story that they put around it dictated the emotion. So for me, here's the story that I choose for my emotions. They just are what they are. My emotions are like the weather. Some days it's rainy, some days it's sunny, some days it's cloudy, some days it's windy. Some days I'm angry, some days I'm happy, some days I'm sad. It has nothing to do with anyone but me. And the only question that I ask myself is, do I want to stay in this emotion or change it? Sometimes I want to stay. Sometimes I'm like, you know what? I like this anger. It's giving me motivation. Let's stay. Sometimes I'm like, you know, I haven't been sad for a while. Let me just experience the sadness for a little bit. Maybe I'll cry. I go like, tears. But as soon as I go, I don't want it anymore. Then there's certain actions I can take to change the emotion. There's certain things that I can do to change the emotion. But if I give it a reason, I can never change it unless I change the reason. So if I say I'm sad because of my business, the sadness stays until I change my business. If I say I'm angry because of this person, my anger stays until I change that person. And I might never be able to change that person. You go, well, then avoid them. Why would I want to live a life where I avoid people? Like, I know people who are like, I can't see my ex. Why? Aren't they a human being? You saw them for that many years. Why can't you see me? It just makes me feel a certain way. Dude, you broke up with them 3 years ago. Get over it. But you don't know what they did to me. Well, I know what they have over you, power. I don't know what they did to you, but I know they have power over you. And you know why they have power over you? Because you haven't forgiven them yet. Here's the next thing, guys. Learn to manage and solve problems. Avoid drama at all costs. You want to be a great leader? You can't live with drama. Drama is for small thinkers. Drama is for people who don't have much better things to do with their life. Drama is not for big thinkers and big dreamers. Drama is a waste of time. But you got to learn to manage and solve problems. How do you manage and solve problems? First of all, you got to prioritize the problems according to your goal. Some problems are not even worth fixing because they're not big enough. It's not worth it. So when I look at my problems, and I got a bunch of problems every day. That's why they pay me $100K a month, because I keep solving these problems. But if I solve a bunch of low profit problems, I won't be getting paid $100K. But because I solve high profit problems, they pay me a lot of money to do it. So you got to prioritize the problem according to your goals. That's the easiest way to know what you should and what you shouldn't. Now, when it comes to drama, have you noticed that there's some people who always have drama in their life? Yes. And have you noticed how there's people that have no drama in their life? Yes. Story, how much drama do I have in my life? 0. And I got a lot of reasons. I got 500 reasons looking at me right now to have drama. And I have no drama. I have no drama in my personal life. I have no drama because I don't have time for it. My vision's too big. People who create or take part in drama are simply looking for a distraction. Looking for a distraction for what? To avoid their own problems. See, it's easier to work on other people's problems so you can run away from your own. You know those people who are like saviors, they want to help everyone? Try helping yourself first. Because you're using other people's problem as a way to avoid your own. But you can't help someone else if you haven't learned to help yourself. So for me, here's a very easy thing that I've learned. There's two easy things that I've learned. 2 or 3. I don't know. Let's see how many points I have here. But there's 2 or 3 things I found here that help me avoid drama, and I have none of it. And I haven't had drama for a very long time, which is why I'm so profitable. Here's the first thing. Don't talk about someone who's not in the conversation and have no impact on the person you're speaking to. Okay, sometimes somebody steals from you and you're like, hey man, watch out for this person. They're going to steal from you too. That's fine. That person may have an impact on someone else. That's what we talk. But if that person has no impact on the other person, why are you talking about them? What's the point? You're just regurgitating the problem. You're just reliving it. Here's the next thing. Don't tell someone else what someone said about them. If you have a problem with what they said, request a 3-way call and have them talk. Very easy, guys. Somebody tells you something. Unless they say, hey, make sure you go tell that person, who the hell are you to tell them? I just want to know, who are you to tell them? If I call you and say, hey, and I show that I'm someone that does that, that's my problem, right? Who told you to go tell them? Where the other person goes, oh, guess what this person told about you? And what does that do for you? You think you become a hero now? The messenger is the first one that gets shot. So how does it help you to run to that person? You got a problem with what they said. You're like, hey, this person said this, I'm concerned. It's an easy solution. I take part in it often. I go, hey, hold up. I'm going to add them to the call. Wait, what? Yeah, just hold on. And I add them to the call. I go, hey, so-and-so was saying this. What do you think about that? Go ahead. And I just sit there and listen. Guys, wasn't that easy? You communicated. Good. Leave me alone. Bye. Done. It's that easy. It's that easy. Whenever somebody comes and tells me someone else told them, you know what I say? Why were they so comfortable telling you? What kind of indications did you give them that they were allowed to keep going on and on and on talking this much bad about me? Didn't you stop them at some point? Didn't you step in and said, hey, why are you talking about my friend that way? They're not like this. So now I got a problem with you. I don't care about them. They're that type of character. Who the hell are you? Why didn't you invite them to a 3-way call? Why didn't you invite them to come and talk to me themselves? Why didn't you walk away from the conversation? Here's what my friends do. Hey man, this person was talking bad about you. I just walked away from the conversation and told them they're an idiot. Respect. Boom. Done. But if you heard the whole thing, what kind of indications did you give them to keep talking? And here's the easiest one that I learned, guys. This one changed my life. I mind my own business. This is so powerful, guys. Mind your own freaking business. Mind your own business. I mean, it's very easy. Who cares? I don't care who my friends are dating. I could give two, like, it doesn't matter to me. Like, whatever. Just don't talk to me about it. It's a waste of my time. Why would I care about, like, I got enough shit to worry about. You think I worry about other people's stuff? Bro, guess what he said? I don't care. Guess what? I don't need to guess. I don't even want to know. See you later. Bye. Minding your own business is so powerful. Your life will change forever. Anyone here feels like they don't have enough time, you're not minding your own business. If you start minding your own business, you have so much time. But you're minding this guy's business, that person's business, their business. You mind famous people's business. I wonder what Messi's doing. Who cares? Let him do whatever he wants to do. I don't care what Messi does until the next World Cup. It's none of my business. Once he's in the World Cup, now it's my business. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Very easy stuff here. Very easy stuff. When someone comes and tells me someone else's business, I'm like, that's not my business. And then it's done, and I'm not involved in it. But getting involved in drama is just as bad as creating it. Because you're giving me a fire. You're giving me a fuel. Here's the next thing that you need to do if you want to lead yourself. Develop fast recovery time. The greatest characteristic of the best leaders is they recover fast. You know what's the hardest part about being a leader? is you're constantly dealing with different stuff. If you can't recover fast, you can't deal with anything. I posted a video on Instagram of Cristiano Ronaldo when he takes a free kick and he misses. Okay? For a second, he's like, damn, that sucks. And then he refocuses and goes and scores a header 2 minutes later. You know what an average player does in that section? Oh, man, I missed the free kick. And they walk around the corner like this. Oh, I should have scored. And they miss the hitter because they're too busy thinking about the last mistake they made. One of the reasons, because some people go, Nima, how are you able to handle all this responsibility? How do you handle everything? I forgive extremely quickly. I learn the right lesson. I let go and I move on better. That's my formula for winning fast. Forgive who? Yourself and everyone else involved. Learn the right lesson, not the wrong one. Let it go and move on better. Very quickly. You learn to do that, life becomes so easy. You become 10 times more productive. You become 10 times more happy. And you get things done at a level that no one else can imagine. People go, wow, how does he do it? Forgive, learn the right lessons, let go and move on better. Quick. You see how the first step is to forgive? Because until you forgive, you can't learn. If you don't forgive, you can't learn. Is that clear with everyone? Yes. Here's the next thing. Teaching others to lead themselves. So now we talked about learning to lead yourself, yes? If you don't have these components, you will not be able to teach anyone else anything. Because how could you teach something that you yourself have not mastered yet? And you know how you master it? By doing it over and over and over again. Now, some of you are sitting here and you go, well, Nima, that's why I'm not recruiting people. That's why I'm not, building a team, because I want to learn everything first. That's not how it works here, because there's another leader that they can learn from. Your job is, while you're learning, you bring other classmates to learn with you. That's what this is all about. Okay, I went to Pilates with Story the other day. Insane. Horrible. Never again. Very painful. Very painful. Very traumatizing. I kind of liked it in a weird way. I might go back. But anyways, she took me to the class to learn from the instructor. Have you mastered Pilates? Do you learn everything? Did you get the license in Pilates? You don't have to, because she invited me to a Pilates class where someone who's mastered it in flip-flops and a weird gray sweats. Pick a different color, my guy. It's summertime. Anyways, was the instructor. But do you understand? That's what this business is. There's an instructor here. Myself, your MDs, your SMDs. Your job is to invite people to enjoy the class with you. No one asked you to teach it. No one told you to take responsibility for it. We asked you to invite them to learn alongside you, just like how Story invited me to Pilates to do it with her. Does that make sense? Yes. So the next time you're like, I just don't believe in my leadership. We don't either. Don't worry. Right? Whether you make it or not as a leader is up to you. It's not my problem. It's your problem. But we're already learned that we believe in ourselves. We're confident. Bring them to learn from us until you're ready to teach them. Does that make sense? Yes. By the way, that's one of the key parts of leading yourself, right? Learning to become the greatest follower. Good? Yes. Now let's talk about teaching others to lead themselves. Here's the first thing. You have to develop influence to teach anyone. In order to teach, you need to have influence first. Well, how do you develop influence? It's very simple, guys. There's a few things you need to do. Your example is the first one. Your example will give you influence more than anything else. If you're winning, if you're getting after it, if you're working hard, if you're doing the right things, people will look at you and go, that guy has a great example that I want to follow. I want to duplicate that. I want to dress like that. I want to act like that. I want to talk like that. I want to win like that, whatever it is. Here's the next thing that gives you influence, your results. Your results. When people see you winning, they want to follow you more. You know what's the easiest way to get your team to listen to you? Win. You know how, as a 23-year-old kid, I started to get a bunch of people listening to me and following me, even though they were much older and much more experienced? I just kept winning. I won every single contest, back to back. And you know why I would win? I'm like, I need to win to be able to lead. By the way, winning for me, winning meant being number one. But winning doesn't mean necessarily being number one. Winning means giving it everything you got to win. Winning means giving it everything you got to win. Wanting to win is significantly more important than actually winning. Because sometimes you can win by luck. Yes or no? Yes. But if you truly want to win and you develop that hunger, that ambition, that drive, even if you lose for years, one day winning will find you. And once it finds you, it'll never let you go. Yes. So it's about developing a winner's mindset. And people can sense it when they're around someone that can win. Right? Let me ask you a question. Is it easier to marry a rich person or someone who's going to be rich? Actually, think about that. Is it easier to marry a rich person who's already at the top, who's already got all this attention, who's already got all this stuff going on, or finding someone who gets rich and marrying them? Actually, think about it. Most love stories you hear, the person was broke when they met and then they got rich together, didn't they? Why is that? Because it's very easy to tell the qualities of someone who's going to win. They're ambitious, they're driven, they're committed, they're getting after it every day. They go through challenges and they keep coming back for more. And you watch that from the sidelines, you go, dude, I got a winner on my hands. Better keep it. Right? They don't need to have the winnings. You can tell if they're going to win. It's the same with leadership and business. People can tell who's going to win. If you talk to Vikas or some of the people that started with me when I was first starting out, they will tell you that there was something about him. He was getting after it at a different level. Dumars was there from the beginning. Dumars knew there was something about me. Maybe he didn't know it was going to happen this fast. Maybe he didn't know it was going to be this big. But he's like, dude, this guy, there's something different about him. Yes or no? Yes. And people on your team, if you got that characteristic, can tell that about you, and that's why they're choosing to come along the ride. Does that make sense? Yeah. So you don't need to win to show that you're a winner, but you need to act like a winner to show that you're a winner. Is that okay? Yes. Here's the next one. Thank you. Here's the easiest and most important way to gain influence. It's to give without expectation. Okay, let me ask you a question. For the average person living a normal life, who is the person that has the most influence on them up until the age of 18, let's say, or 19? Parents, yes or no? Yes. Why do our parents have so? By the way, for those of you that have a good relationship with your parents and love your parents, how much would you give to help your parents? The answer is everything. Yes, for everyone. Why? Why are you giving so much? By the way, isn't there people that hate their parents? So it's not just the fact that they gave you birth. There's something else to it. Isn't there people that had parents that gave them birth and then got adopted, but have so much loyalty to the people that adopted them and don't even care about the people that isn't that? So it's not a genetic thing. It's not like, oh, I'm birthed by this person, so I owe them my life. That's not the concept. Why is it that your parents have so much influence over you? Because they gave you everything without expectation. That's why. They gave you everything they could without expectation. They gave you love, they gave you resources, they gave you everything, and they didn't expect you to give them anything in return. Actually, you couldn't have given them anything in return. And that's why you have that devotion, loyalty, and influence that they have over you. Is that clear? Yes. So you want to truly be a leader, you want to influence people, give without any expectation. What can you give? Belief and confidence, so powerful. It's so powerful to give people belief and confidence because they're lacking it. What else can you give? Inspiration and motivation, so powerful. What else can you give? Support. What else can you give? Knowledge. What else can you give? Great counsel and guidance. Are you with me so far? Yes. What else can you give? Time and energy. What else can you give? Resources. If you become more, you can give more. If you give more, you gain more. That's the formula. I just gave you the formula to becoming great at anything. If you become more, you can give more. If you give more, you can gain more. Simple as that. You want to get rich? That's the formula to getting rich. The formula to getting rich is become more, give more, and you'll gain more. Is this clear with everyone? Yes. Because the more you have, the more you can give. If you have confidence and belief, you can give it to a lot of people. If you have motivation, it's easy to give it. Some people go, Nima, how come you're so motivated? Because I always expose myself to motivation all the time. They go, Nima, every time I get around you, I get so much urgency and motivation. Why is that? Because I got so much in me, I can't help it. It's overflowing. I got so much urgency, I got so much motivation that I can't help but give it to you. Does that make sense to people, to you guys? I get around people that have nothing to do with my business, and I'm just so fired up, they get fired up. I will go for coffee with people, and they leave like, dude, I felt amazing. I'm like, yeah, bro, it's pumped up. Let's get it going. Get what going? I don't know either, but we're going to get it going, whatever it is. That's why you got to put on your oxygen mask before you can help someone else put on theirs. The greatest and most influential people in our lives gave us the most. The most influential teacher you ever had gave you the most. Think about anyone in your life that has influence over you. They all have one thing in common. They gave you a lot. Yes or no? Yes. That's why giving is so rare, but it's so powerful. If you give enough, the receiving will take care of itself. Trust me. but giving something worth giving. Don't forget that. The more valuable the thing you give is, the more influence you have. Let me give you an example. Some people get into a people-pleasing place and they give a lot of their time. Well, if your time is not worth that much, giving it doesn't make a difference. Once your time becomes very valuable, now giving it makes a difference. See, if you do nothing with your life, you have no job, you have no work, and you give your time to hang out with someone, who cares? But if you're running a huge business, you got a bunch of stuff going on, and you give 30 minutes of your time to someone, now that matters. Yes or no? Okay. So what you give has to actually have value. You might give help to a friend for moving. That's valuable, but it's not the most valuable thing. Because they can pay someone $200 to help them with moving as well. But giving someone belief, that's rare. Where do you get that from? Where do you go to buy belief, guys? Where do you go to buy confidence from? But actually, think about it for a second. If what you give is unique and more valuable, you gain more influence because of it. Yes, giving someone $5 is amazing. Giving someone $5,000 is next level. You give someone $5, they'll thank you. You give someone $5,000, they'll cry in front of you. Am I right or am I wrong? The person you give $5 to will forget you in a few months. The person you give $5,000 to will never forget you for the rest of their life. For the rest of their life, dude, this one person came up to me and gave me $5,000. I don't know what the hell happened that day. Crazy. You see? So giving is the key, but you got to give at the highest level. And again, to give more, you got to become more. Here's the next thing. Allow them to associate with you. You want to teach others to lead themselves, let them associate with you. This is a way for me to allow you to associate with me so I can teach you what I've learned. One of the ways I associate with Ed Milet is by going on his YouTube and watching his podcast. Same with Joe Dispenza, same with all these other people. The more you associate with someone, the more you can gain the things they have. That's why team events are so important. That's why, having exposure, those mentorship calls that I do, that's why it's also important. Because it's giving you a chance to associate. And you become the average of the 5 people you associate with. So with me, I made a decision in 2020 when my business blew up where I'm going to call my team members on a daily basis. Because in my head, I keep telling them, you are who associate with, how much are they associated with me? So then I started calling them every day and I let them associate. And guess what that allowed me to do? It allowed me to teach them how to talk to themselves. Because they would say, try. I say, try. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, dude, you can't say try. They're like, why? I'm like, bro, try is an easy way of saying you can't do it. What do you mean? I'm like, tell me the same thing without saying try. Because they would say, I'm going to try to be associate. I'm like, now say without that. I'm going to be an associate. The word try did nothing for that sentence. All it did was just give you a way out. So are you going to do it or do you need a way out? Because if you need a way out, I'm just going to assume you're not going to do it. No, I'm going to do it. Okay, so what are you going to do? I'm going to be an associate. Okay, cool. You see? I just took the word try out of their vocabulary. And every time they talk, and then you know what happens after a little while? They go, oh, shoot, never mind. I'm going to do it. I'm like, you're learning. See, now I'm duplicating that self-talk. Because if you talk to yourself the way I talk to myself, you'll have my results very quickly. If you talk to yourself the way I talk to myself, you'll have my results very quickly. Okay? I filled the ice bath today. Just like every day, I don't feel like going into it. Never. When do you feel like going and freezing your butt off in an ice bath? Never. You know what my self-talk is? As soon as I turn on the tap, I'm like, now I have to go. I'm like, if the water is there, I can't let the water go to waste. I got to go into it. I'm like, you should have not turned on the water, dude. Yeah, you shouldn't have, but now you have. So you're going in there. And every time I'm about to go turn it on, I'm like, you know what you're about to do? Yep, turn it on. Boom, we're going in. As soon as I hear the water, I'm going in. It's over. That's self-talk. Someone else goes, not today. It's okay. I'll just drain it. Okay, that's also self-talk. Does that make sense? Yes. Give them better affirmations. Everyone has affirmations. Who here doesn't know what an affirmation is? Okay, some of you are lying. Okay, let me tell you what an affirmation is. Because an affirmation is a statement you make to yourself often. Okay? Everyone uses affirmations all the time, but most people use negative ones. I'll never make it. That's an affirmation. I'm never going to be good enough. That's an affirmation. I'm so stupid. That's an affirmation. These are all affirmations. I teach people my affirmations. Here's one of my affirmations. All I need is within me now, and I have the courage to see it through. You know what that means? That means everything I need is already within, and I have the courage to actually bring it out. I'm a winner is one of my affirmations. Are you? Yep. Because it's my affirmation. that make sense? Yes. As long as I do the right things will happen is my affirmation. Oh, nothing ever works is an affirmation. Darkest right before dawn is also an affirmation. Which one leads you to success more? See, when you say nothing ever works, how do you feel? Down, discouraged, frustrated. When you say it's always darkest right before dawn, how do you feel? Hope, faith, and excitement. When you go, everything happens for me, not to me, how do you feel? Inspired, like you're lucky, like there's someone looking over you and making things happen for your benefit. Like you have destiny on your side. Yes or no? Yes. When you say, oh, it always happens to me, how do you feel? Like you're a victim. Poor you, boo-hoo. Do you see? Your affirmations determine your emotions. Your emotions determine your behavior. Your behavior determines your results. It's a very simple concept, guys. Here's another thing that I do. Give them a better perspective. When somebody comes to you with a problem, you know what they need more than anything? A better perspective. If you look at the problem from a different lens, it becomes an opportunity. A problem looked at from a different lens becomes an opportunity. I had a team member that was having a problem with one of their team members. And they're like, man, I'm so frustrated with this team member. They annoy me so much. I'm like, they annoy you so much? They're teaching you how to be patient. They said, what are you talking about? I'm like, if they weren't annoying you, how would you get a chance to practice patience? If you don't develop patience, how are you going to build the big team and have the big dreams you want? So you see, all of a sudden, the problem became an opportunity. Now, the next time they go on the phone with that person, they're not anxious because they think they're going to get frustrated. They're excited because they think they're going to learn. Somebody quits on your team. You have one less team member or you're 1% a better leader. Which one? You see? If somebody quits on your team, you're either a better leader or you've lost a team member. Which one gives you more confidence? See, when I look back, I go, everyone that came into my business and quit taught me something that allowed me to have what I have. So I'm grateful for them. Some people go, they wasted my time. So you're resentful to them. Which one allows you to keep pouring into people without any expectation? Resentment or gratitude? Perspective is everything. The biggest thing that you get when you come on these trainings is perspective. A different way of looking at things. Because if you change the way you look at the world around you changes. It's not that complicated of a concept, guys. Here's the next thing you need to do in order to lead others, in order to teach others how to lead themselves. Demonstrate amazing character and expect them to do the same. Honesty, integrity, selflessness, and helping others that you have no incentive to help. Doing the right things all the time. Apologize and take responsibility sincerely when mistakes are made. You need to develop these things within yourself if you don't have it, and then expect other people to have it too. If somebody gives me a small lie, some of you in this room, I'm not going to name anyone, you've said some things to me that came off as a lie. You know what happened on that phone call when I called you. The lie wasn't a big deal. It's the standard that I need to hold. Does that make sense? Because I have built an organization, not that I have built an organization of honest people. Because I've attracted honest people. Well, how do you attract honest people? By being honest yourself first. When you're so honest, the people who aren't honest get filtered out. They can't stand it. See, if you're extremely positive, negative people can't stand being around you. They go, oh, he's so positive all the time. See, when you embody what you want, all you get is that. Because the people that don't have it don't want to be around you. So all of you, I know, are honest. All of you have great integrity. All of you are selfless and will help each other. Why? Because we won't tolerate anything else. When the session is done and we're asking people to help the chairs, I come into the hallway and force people to help with chairs if they're not doing it. And that shows the standard. And they're not helping because they're selfish. Maybe they didn't know that they need help. So I make them aware. Maybe they thought other people were helping. So I make them aware that they're the ones that are helping. I had one team member, one of the MDs. I was like, dude, why don't you help with the chairs? He's like, I did. I'm like, how many chairs? Like 3. I'm like, and? He's like, well, I did my part. Who told you that's your part? Who told you your part was 3 chairs? Maybe your part was 70 chairs. Well, that's not fair. Get out of my organization then. Because for me, your part of the chairs is until the chairs are gone. Does that make sense? Your part of the chairs is until the chairs are gone. Who told you it's 3 chairs? You told you it's 3 chairs? This is the amount that I'm willing to help. No. You're helping until it's done. That's the standard you got to hold. If you don't hold that standard, what's going to happen? Here's the most important one. Apologize and take responsibility sincerely when mistakes are made. I make mistakes all the time. To this day, I make mistakes often. If you wanted me to, I can do a full 1 hour training, 1.5 hour training every week on my mistakes. All right, guys, let's begin. Today, mistake number, I can even prioritize it from you, from highest mistake to lowest mistake. Here's the one thing that I do, though, that many people aren't willing to do. I sincerely apologize for my mistakes, and then I change. And I do it quickly, and I do it sincerely. You go, why? It's a punishment for me. Them forgiving me has nothing to do with my apology. Them forgiving me is their choice. My apology might help. My apology might do nothing. That's none of my business. I'm minding my own business. I apologize as a punishment for me. That's why I apologize. Who here likes apologizing? If you raise your hand, you're a liar. Okay. We all hate apologizing because we all have an ego. We all hate, it's awkward. How do you feel in your stomach when you're about to apologize? Right? That's why I apologize. Because it's me punishing myself for my mistake to make sure I never do it again. And every time I apologize, it's another reminder of why I don't want to apologize next time. Does that make sense? Yes. Here's the next thing you need to do when you want to teach others to lead themselves effectively. And it's the last one. Challenge them and give them a great identity to live up to. Challenge them and give them one thing that I always say to people, because I challenge people all the time, and you guys know I do. Okay, I push them. Sometimes I do it in a nice way. Sometimes it's a little bit aggressive. Whatever. It depends on the day. Okay? You take it the way you want to take it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to deliver it anyways. But here's my mentality with challenging people. I always tell them this. I'm only challenging you because I believe in you. Yes. If I went to someone in a wheelchair and said, run faster, then I'm an asshole. Okay? That's what I am. But if I go to someone who can run and tell them to run faster, then I believe in them. You see? When you challenge someone who can do something about it, you believe in that person. When you challenge someone who has no ability to do anything about it, you're an asshole. So for me, if I challenge you, it's because I believe in you. If you haven't been challenged with me for a while, it's probably because I haven't talked to you for a while. Because I can't remember anyone. Because I truly believe in every person. So when you tell me I'm going to hit MD by this time, like, why don't you do it sooner? Because I know you can. You might not know you can, but I do. So you only challenge people who you believe in. Because you're an asshole if you challenge someone who you don't believe in. Does that make sense? Yeah. Here's the last part of this. And it looks like we're going to finish all of it, which is good. Your ability to lead leaders. Now we're going to get into leading. So the first step was what, guys? Learning to lead ourselves. Yes or no? Yeah. By the way, you know when that finishes? When you die. You know when you stop learning how to lead yourself? When you're gone. Okay? We don't know where you went, but God bless you. Hopefully heaven. But for the rest of my life, I'm going to practice leading myself, and I can always get better. Yes or no? Yes. Then the next step is you're teaching other people to lead themselves. Yes or no? Yes. Whether it's your kids, whether it's your family members, whether it's your friends, or whether it's your business partners. Then the next step, if you're lucky enough, if you're willing to work at it enough, if you're pushing it enough, you can begin to lead leaders. You know what it's required to lead leaders? The first thing is establishing systems. In order to lead leaders, you need to establish systems. Without systems, you're never going to build a big enough organization to be able to lead leaders. Right now in our organization, guys, we have a lot of leaders. Yes? The reason we have so many leaders is because we've established a system where leadership is developed on a daily basis. So you need to establish a system to even get into this game. Here's the nice part about leading leaders. Communicate, 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 communicate. If I could fit this through the whole page, I would just say communicate for the rest of the training. Here's what I've learned in my life. Problems always arise from a lack of communication. But problems always get solved with communication. I'm someone who maybe over-communicates. It still hasn't created more problems for me than lack of communication has. Anytime I didn't communicate expectations, anytime I didn't communicate something, I got in trouble. Every time I communicated it, I won. Yes or no? Yes. So the biggest thing, if you want to lead leaders successfully, is you got to learn to communicate and communicate often and communicate frequently. Because that communication keeps the relationship intact and keeps your influence there. As soon as you stop communicating, you lose them. Does that make sense? Here's the next part about this, guys. Give them responsibilities and expect them to perform. If you want to lead leaders, you know what leaders want? Responsibility. You know what leaders want? An ability to perform. Leaders want to be put under pressure. So if you want to lead leaders, you have to give them responsibility. Even when I tell people to pick up the chairs, you know who I go to? The leaders. I only ask the MDs and SMDs to pick up the chairs. Because I want them to feel responsible for the Wednesday sessions. Why should Lana, Kirash, and Slim work so hard to put the chairs together and then you guys just walk away? When we have training sessions and we have panels, why do I have the panels? Because I want to give them responsibility to teach you as well. When I do mentorship call with my leaders, I get them to share, and I give them to, tomorrow when I do my mentorship calls, I'm going to get them to share their feedback and takeaways from the session today. Because I want them to be responsible for teaching others as well. No leader will stay in an environment where they're not given responsibility. Does that make sense? Here's the next thing, and this is my favorite one. Let them fail and pick themselves up while being there for them. See, in the early stages of their journey, you won't need to pick them up. In the early stages of their journey here, you're going to need to pick them up because they haven't learned the skill set yet to pick themselves up. So when they go through rejection, you pick them up. When they have people quit on them, you pick them up. You go, hey, it's going to be okay. Give me your hand. Let's go. But there is a stage that you get to where you have to watch them pick themselves up. There's a stage you get to where you go, okay, you messed up. Clean it. Help me. No. Clean it. Because if they can't clean up their own mess, they're not a leader yet. So there's a stage you get to where you go, you know what I do with people? Let me tell you guys what I do. If they're not on a call with me and their team member is there, I get the team member to message them. Clean up your mess now. You just led by bad example. You explain to them why you didn't show up. You explain to them why you were not there. Go ahead. Right? Why should I make an excuse for you? Here's one of my biggest leadership models when it comes to leading my leaders. I reward them for solutions, not for tears. I reward my leaders for solutions, not for tears. You can cry as much as you want. It's so hard. It's cool. Keep crying. Whenever you're done, though, get with the solution. You don't have the solution, I'll give it to you. But my leaders should have all the solutions because that's why they're a leader. But for me, I believe if you want to help someone, you got to help them help themselves. Does that make sense? When I have kids in the future, God bless them, that's going to be a fun thing for them. I don't know what's going to happen with them. We'll figure it out. But when I have kids, for the first few years, we're gonna help them. We're gonna pick them. There's gonna be a time though. I don't know the age yet. I gotta read some books on this to figure it out. I don't want to traumatize them. But there's gonna be a point though when they mess up and I go, you figure it out. Right? When they go to school and they talk some shit and some kids want to beat them up, yeah, you're going to school tomorrow and they might beat you up. What are you gonna do? I'll call the cops if it gets bad. But you created that mess. You got to develop the charisma to get out of it now. Or you got to develop the fighting skills to get out of it now. It's your own problem. Does that make sense? But at the end of the day, at some point, you got to teach them to take care of themselves. Because people will only be dependent as long as you let them be dependent. Make sense? But as soon as you step away and go, you know what? Now you need to figure it out. That's when they actually start developing some stuff. Because people are very strong. People are very strong. There's generations that are before. This generation is different than the past generations. There's a generation, guys, that at the age of 11, they would get married. Yes or no? There's a generation. That means there was people that were capable of that. There's a generation of people that left the house at 14. There's a generation of people that lived in a household with 12 kids and they were dad at 12 to their brothers and sisters. So what were those people better than us? No, they just were forced into those responsibilities. By the way, there's parts of the world where that's happening today. There's parts of the world where there's war right now, unfortunately, and kids are becoming parents overnight because the parent dies because of war. It's unfortunate, but those people become the strongest leaders. Does that make sense? Yes. It's unfair, it sucks, but it shows how powerful and adaptable human beings are. Have a high standard and hold them to it. Have a high standard. First, you have to have a high. How do you develop a high standard? By having a high standard for you. Once you develop a high standard for you, it's easy to hold other people to it. But if you don't have a high standard for you, you can't hold anyone else to it. See, if I come early, I can give shit to people who come late. When I come late, I can give shit to anyone. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you have to live with that high standard, and then you can hold other people's with it. Drive the vision and make sure they know how they're a part of it. You want to lead leaders, you got to constantly talk about the vision of where we're going, why we're going there, what we're going to do, and how you're going to be a big part of it. When I call my MDs, I tell them, hey, this is what I need from you this month. Because I want them to know they're a part of the vision. They're part of the winning. Make sense? And people love it when you tell them you need something from them. Especially when you're someone who can get it on your own. When you get to a point where you can get something on your own, you go, hey, man, I need you to score 3 goals of this game. That player feels they're special. Like, damn, this guy actually believes in me that I can score 3 goals. Yes or no?
Yes.
And here's the last one, guys, and probably the most important one when it comes to leading leaders. Have a great team culture and make sure it's being implemented. Let me tell you guys our team culture to close off today's meeting. Here's our team culture, guys. And this team culture has been around since, I don't even know, 2020, 2021 maybe. Here's our team culture. The first thing is Kenai, constant and never-ending improvement. We believe our main purpose as human beings is to keep getting better in all areas of our life. Because as we get better, we can inspire others to do the same thing. Yes?
Yes.
Here's the next thing. We want to reach our full potential as individuals and as a team, and in the process, help others do the same. We believe in respect and recognition for ourselves, for others, for our system and the integrity behind it, for those that have paved the way before us. We believe in respect at a high level. We respect our leaders that have done the hard stuff when we weren't around. We respect our fellow team members. We respect everyone because we believe respect is the cornerstone of building a great organization. Teamwork and giving mentality, helping others without expectation. Every single leader in my organization helps other leaders without expectation. If Roman asks Lexi for something, it's done. If Lexi asks Vickers for something, it's done. If Vickers asks Arthur Jr. for something, it's done. If Arthur Jr. asks Arthur Jr. for something, it's done. It's not even I've never heard it one time where they go, hey man, I asked this leader to help me with this and they said no. I've never had that conversation with anyone. If I have that conversation, it's the last time they say no to someone for helping them. Or they leave the organization. Guys, I'm okay losing production. I'm not okay having cancer in my organization. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Meaning somebody who's negative, who doesn't embody the team culture, eventually becomes a cancer that spreads to everyone else in the team. Even if they're producing a lot, I'm okay losing that production to keep the organization intact. Because I love my people, but I always prioritize the organization. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Clear and open communication. Straightforward communication all the time. You rarely hear anyone talk behind anyone's back in our team because we have a culture of open, straightforward communication. And you know where that starts from? Me. Actually think about it for all the MDs and SMDs. When was the last time I talked about a leader that wasn't there in our team? When they're there, I talk about them and, you know, sometimes it's funny, right? We have some of those back and forth as a fun thing. But have I ever talked badly about anyone that's not in the room that's in our team? No. Never. So here's what my team goes. We don't talk behind our team members' backs because they never see me do it. There has been times where somebody brought up another leader and I'm like, hey man, we're not talking about him. And I say some positive stuff. I've had arguments with MDs of ours who have been talking things about training associates of ours. And I'm like, dude, you can't talk about them like that. They're like, why not? I'm like, because I don't want you to give me a negative image of someone who I need to care for and love. And everyone in my team, I need to care for and love. I don't care if they're on your team or direct to me. I care about them. I love them. So I don't want you to talk negatively about them. You got a problem with them, bring them on call and give them a chance to defend themselves. It's very simple stuff. We have a partner's mentality. That means we understand that when one of us grows, it helps all of us grow. Every single one of you, when you win, it allows everyone else to win. When you hit your 100K, we show it off on social media to inspire everyone else with your background. So the more you win, the more we all win together. That's a complete understanding that we all have. That's why you see, we always promote and recognize our fellow team members. Yes or no?
Yes.
Here's the next thing, guys. We love and respect everyone, especially those that we don't get along with. When you're in a family, do you always get along with your siblings? Do you always like your siblings? But you always love them. That means when push comes to shove, you're there right behind them, aren't you? We have that here too. And we treat others the way we want to be treated. If you want to be treated like shit, you can't treat others like that, by the way. Right? You got to go figure yourself out. But we treat people the way we would want to be treated. Does that make sense?
Yes.
We're visionaries. We're big thinkers. We see and believe in a better future. And we play to win because winning isn't everything, but wanting to win is. and we have high standards. Look, our organization, guys, has one of the highest standards in this whole company. The average in the company per licensed agent in terms of production is 10,000. In our team, it's 40,000. That's due to our great leadership, to our great training systems, and also to our high standards. If we have MDs in our team that had 100K that barely get recognition, that's how high our standards are. Seriously, in other offices or teams, you had 100K as an MD, you're like, oh my God, they did it. They did the miracle thing. Here it's just like, oh, you're just another MD that had 100K. Good job. Go to 250 now. But in a high standard environment, people grow and people win. See, you always have an option. You can either be a small fish in a big pond, which allows you to grow to a big fish, or you can be a big fish in a small pond, which keeps you that size forever. I always want to be a small fish in a big pond versus being a big fish in a small pond, because I want room to grow and I want to grow bigger. Does that make sense? So when you're in an environment where it takes a lot for you to get recognized, you develop to that level. When it takes a little bit, you don't develop too much. Here's the next thing. We're humble. What do I mean by this? Everyone can learn something from someone, and no one is better or worse than someone else. People may have better results, better skills, better talents, and even have more experience, but no one is better than someone else. We are all unique in our own way and have a unique story, and we respect that. If somebody takes 10 years to become an MD, we appreciate them and love them as much as the person that became MD in a month. Because that 10-year story is so inspiring for so many other people, as is that 1 month story. Does that make sense? Yes. Here's the next thing. We're positive. That means we enjoy the process and we have a fun and friendly environment. When you come here in our trainings in person, or when you come to any of our team events, when you come to Western Convention, you feel this team culture, don't you? Yes. Because we embody it, and that's why we grow so fast. And you know why we have this team culture? Because all of you are doing it. It has nothing to do with me. It's you guys. Because if you guys don't take part in this team culture, if you don't demonstrate this, if you don't hold other people to it, then it doesn't exist. I'm just one person. One person can't do much. But 500 people who think the same way, who want the same thing, who are going to the same direction, can do so many things. It's ridiculous. And we're just getting started. And guys, this month our goal is 1 million points at 300 AMA. In the next 3 years, we're going to have 5,000 licensed agents, and this room is going to be filled with $1 million earners. Is that okay? Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.